Hi everyone, I am Saniya Khullar, and in this video, I want to be there with you and help you through creating professional images for biology papers or other projects. Because if you're like me, maybe you've looked at an image or some of the beautiful figures in papers like this, for instance. So this is a recent paper on studying SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that causes COVID-19, infectivity and therapeutic responses with complex organoids. It was just published really recently in August 2021. And you're going to see these really beautiful images here. How are those possible? Right? Like, how did they show this virus binding to these ACE2 receptors coming inside, right? This is a pretty amazing article. Pretty awesome. How did they create that? And you might be stumped as well. In my paper, one of the papers that I've written, that is a preprint that's available online, I sort of use these same tools that I'm going to share with you guys. And I want to help you because I was also kind of stumped. How do you do it? How do you create these images? And in my recent paper, I was also writing about how COVID-19, the virus that causes it, how it binds to various receptors and enters in the cell, how that leads to changes in these nuclear factor kappa beta transcription factors, how they regulate these inflammatory cytokines that are associated with the various effects that we see during COVID-19, like that cytokine storm. So in other words, I myself was really proud of myself that I was able to create this image that looks really professional, like a textbook type of image that was in my preprint. So you might be also wondering, like me, and I was stumped, like, how do people make this happen? And how do they make these really beautiful papers, these images that are found in these papers? So a really cool tool that I learned about that I want to share with you guys is known as Biorender. And so it's called Biorender. And what I'm going to show you guys is how we can essentially use Biorender to access. So I'm going to log in to Biorender here. So there's Biorender, which is this site here. And as you can see from this site, it allows you to dynamically create professional science figures in minutes. So you can browse thousands of pre-made icons and templates for more than 30 fields of life sciences. So what you could see here, for instance, is this is sort of some of the work in my paper. I was using this to be able to create these figures as well. I'm on a basic plan and I was using this to generate some of the figures for my paper. So this is Biorender, so you can sign in as well. So I'm just going to sign in. And when I sign in now, so if you try premium for 14 days, so I recommend trying it. If you are really going to use it, it can be a little bit costly. So maybe just sample, play around with it, and then you can try it when you're close to writing a paper or your project, because it's 14 days, so it's just 2 weeks. So, but it's used by hundreds of trusted institutions like Johns Hopkins, Cambridge, Roche, CellPress, Biogen. My professor told me about this and I was just so excited because I didn't know how people came up with those amazing figures, So my whiteboard's a little bit messy, but I've used it for a lot of my different my sketches over here, COVID, updated, untitled. Like there's so many different applications that I have used it for, such as analyzing similarities between COVID, coronavirus disease and Alzheimer's disease, for instance. Like what are the similarities between them? What are common pathways that are affected? Again, my research, which I have talked about. But I just want to show you that they give you these templates. Like you can look at Gaba, which is one of the inhibitory neurotransmitters in the brain. So this figure template is Gaba synthesis and uptake. It uses dynamic biorender assets, icons, lines, shapes, and or text. It's fully editable. So this is used, this is immune factors, it's used in this. So this is super cool. This is like immunoglobulin G, which is a type of antibody. As well, this is immunoglobulin M, which is one of the first ready-made ones, when we encounter viruses and other infections. And then these are more specialized as well. So you can see all the different types. If this is signaling molecules, this is influenza viruses. So they have examples of different templates. So you can start here and you can even work with what they have next 1 to 6. You can just get started with Biorender in 4 easy lessons. How do you use it? Or you can just also play around with it too, like new illustrations. So if I want to maybe come up with a cell membrane, for instance, like let's say I want to come up with a membrane, nuclear membranes. I can come up with a nuclear membrane. And I can drag it here. And whatever's in this space will stay here. This part is not in the workspace. And I can just like change the colors. I can play around with it. I can even, this is something really cute. So there are these icons, and then they have these things that are bio emojis as well, which are really cool. So you can have your active macrophage as well. You can even come up with these cute little illustrations as well. Bio emoji faces. You can, or you can come up with all sorts of things. You can come up with proteins. You can come up with protein like this. You can change these factors as well as needed. You can come up with arrows as well. Like there's so many different things that you can do. And it's just so much fun to play around with this. It's just dragging and dropping. You can look up maybe DNA directly. Maybe you want to look up gene regulation. You want to zoom in on it. You want to look up, transcription factors. So this is like the regulation of, neurofactor kappa binding. So this is something I had thought of. These are transcription factors that regulate the binding. They regulate the expression of other genes, either the activation of them or the repression. So you can keep dragging and dropping them. You can look here for this is like antibodies. So there's so many things you can do here. And insert text as well. You can have in this figure. So there's so many examples. I kind of got really, really excited about it. In one of my figures that I was writing about, I sort of was looking at the impact of these in the microglia of a certain Alzheimer's genome wide association study SNP in a certain location, how it impacts transcription factor binding to this in this DNA region here, to the enhancers in the hippocampus here, and to the promoter in the lateral temporal lobe, how that is associated with various phenotypes that we observe in Alzheimer's disease. So you can directly also upload images too as well. You can say file. You can also upload images directly here. So here I uploaded, these breaking signs. I uploaded confusion, the different phenotypes that you can observe, different images that are loaded in here. You can upload all sorts of images. So that's just an example. You could buy free of these workspaces. And then when you're done, you could always just, use a snipping tool or something, or you can pay for the premium as well. But these are just a bunch of different tools here. You can also look at the opacity. You can make things lighter, darker. You can try to, sometimes you can change the format. You can even work in teams on it. You can flip it around. This is an antibody. And if sometimes you need some things, you can just take, sorry about that. You can just take the snipping tool and you can just like copy what you need to copy as well in very, really high quality, or you can pay for the premium as well. But this is just a really helpful tool that I was able to use to come up with these biological figures that are super impressive. And that's what probably people use for textbooks or other illustrations. And you can get really, really, really into this as well. So I really highly recommend that you check out biorender.com. And the free version, you get 5 free illustrations. And I think it's just going to really be helpful for you guys in your research. So please let me know if you have any questions at all, if you have any ideas. And I'm just hope I could help you guys. And along my journey, I want to share things that will help you guys. So please subscribe to my channel as well. So thank you so much.